There's proof.
Yeah, sure.
As if some reach here, some reach there, I say both methods for me are fine.
100, I agree, but what I say is, why names are given? Why anything is named? First thing which you do is, any procedure you evolve, you name it. Okay? Now, suppose you say that you can say with acrobatic you can realize. Okay, accepted. But acrobatic is yoga. That is not justified.
No, I agree. I totally agree, but that is not like Pathabi choice isn't saying
So that,
acrobatic is
see,
yoga.
that way nowadays, many yoga are going on and people are practicing also. So the thing is, did they do any research? Are there any results published? Then you can argue. And people will accept. I am very open in that way. But simply hypothesis will not do.
Or anecdotes. I think it's fair to say that the field of asana is reasonably broad, and there's scope in there for early time, later time, a certain amount of what can be and what gets people excited and into it, because you come in with a preconceived notion and even conditioning. So that's how you're going to do it. Yeah, and then if the system is a bit, you're going to go with that. So the question is that the best way to continue and grow, right? So there has to be a refinement. And to be fair, a lot of the asana practice has emphasized more the go, physical sort of stuff. And part of that is because there's a lack of understanding in how the dots are connected through other practices such as pranayama, meditative practices, inner practices, and so on. Often they're put out there as almost separate little groups. I did that and I'll do this. At the same time, we as yogis practicing take some time to do some physical exercise, some cardio, some whatever it is. You know what I mean? Is that, in fact, I would almost say it's helpful, right? And then the point is, if you're really starting to understand asana, it should have a developing effect in the direction of what asana is supposed to achieve, right? Which is a very particular steadiness, stability, as the Hatha Pradipika says, removes rajas, which removes restlessness, removes unnecessary overactivity or stress, you could say, in the system, etc. So is it doing that, see? And plus, even from my own limited experience and perspective, the people I meet now versus 5, 10, 20 years ago, it's different. And you kind of have to work with that too. And it's a changing landscape. And yes, we can say, you get into this, and great, lots of other people start pranayama, etc. I agree, right? But that there still should be an understanding of, okay, well, let's clean it up, or let's at least understand it to do it correctly. And, obviously I did Ashtanga all these years while learning one-on-one with Tawaraji, and at some point he said, do Ashtanga, Paul. But just do it with awareness, And, that, if you ask me, is what vinyasa was about. That, I even feel was why I might have had a nicer relationship with Pattabhi Joyce. There was a sense of, be in it. Anyone going who, used to just say gymnastics or this or that stuff. And there's a tendency to go that way, right? So hopefully studying, research, doing things nicely can help clear that up. But people are also pushing and drawn for it. And something, it even took me a while to appreciate, is you can almost feel guilty giving yourself a break. Allowing yourself to rest, have shavasanas, etc., And, but I will tell you, moving forward, it's essential. And how you trust it, and how you really if you're really working with deep integrity, especially, I mean, we're all sitting here doing lots of pranayama, etc. You know, there's no small stuff, no beginner practice. So, you know, year after year, how do I fine tune? How do I do more? Now it's the subtleties, it's the nuances, it's the tone that, it's your attitude also to how you might do that asana, which is key, you know. And in time, something shifts as well that you're like, oh, even Tabi Joy said that, you know, 10 years, okay, you know, curriculum is over, to be fair.
Yeah, and Patali Joyce didn't start with asana because he thought this was bringing you to enlightenment. He started with asana because he knew that the people coming to him liked that. And when they were reaching a certain stability, he started then on pranayama. He didn't start it early. Of course, it was a different pranayama. But his goal was exactly the same. He just used a different route. And I guess the only reason why I'm arguing is there, we talked about this committee in India, is there somebody worldly able to decide this is right, this is wrong?
Well,
or are there several rivers flowing to the same sea?
I'll just back at you, sorry if I do a minute. Because you said earlier, if this camp does this does that, and get to the goal. So when you said that, my question was, how do you know who's at that goal? See? What is this? So that's where the challenge is, and that's where the research
it is
comes
not
in.
that it's sin, but try to understand it. There are now, you see, many yoga. Naked yoga, power yoga, nude yoga. They can justify their decision. Okay? And I think your vote will go to them.
He was given a flyer once in New York on nude yoga. It was the nude yoga for men in Chelsea class.
So, what is the goal? Whether you achieve
I
it.
was teaching. Anyway, sorry.
Because justification can be given any. See, illogically one can be logical. But the fundamental is where we want to go. See, exercises are not bad, not at all. They are part of the life. But question is, when the literature is telling something, and why not experiment and come to conclusion? See, another lacuna I am trying to tell you. In India, there are many institutions which claim research institute, but not so far one paper is published. And why did they write? You know, because if you write research institution, you are income tax free. Income tax, you are not to pay income tax. I know, because I am in the top committee, so I know many institutions, all not claim research institute in yoga. Not even thermometer is there.
There's that. A lot of cleaning up to do, right? A lot of work to be done.
So question is not there. I had such a wonderful talk with Sharat or Ayangarji. I went with him to meet Ayangarji. Our relation is very good. But fundamental thing becomes is, now I can ask you, where is the tradition of Krishnamacharya? Tell me.
Exactly. This is his problem. That's why he needs a myth.
No, I'm telling this way we get confused. And as many things can be proved and we can take it ahead, it will be always welcome. Humanity must be free from suffering. Okay, we have become more serious.
I find it I find it very important.
Yeah, very important.
Especially in such a place where there are people who have a dedication to two different lineages. and they try to combine these two lineages in their body. And I think it is important, really. But I don't want to monopolize the discussion.
I've just one final note then on it. As I was saying earlier, the field of asana has a broader scope, so a little bit more, a little bit less, and at different times of your experience, career in asana practice, it's going to go like that, right? Pranayama, less scope to mess with, so to speak. More needing to deeply understand, see? So that's the nature of it. Asana is quite popular. Pranayama is less done because, look at it, needs this sort of dedication. You can see the kind of subtlety it requires them to get into it. And it's more like come together, now go off and do your own practice, you see? So, and this is where the kind of research can come and help a lot. But look, from my own perspective as well, I will do some Kavali Dhammasana, but I did, and still do 20 years of the other, and there's no conflict, These are not like two massively opposing things. What it comes down to, the conflict would be, is if you go too hard in your asana and then you're trying to make pranayama work, see? So it's just managing that balance, like we tried to this morning. Okay, I should move on with this, okay? At what level of practice does one actually achieve pratyahara and dharana?
So once your senses start listening to you, that is pratyahara. And after that, automatically you fall into the field of dharana. Main thing is, so long we are under the control of senses, we have to become master. Whenever you want to withdraw, you can withdraw. And that is not impossible. It needs little inner practice.
How do you tell someone's pulse? By shaking their hand.
Have you?
I don't know who wrote it, but who are you? How do you understand the question?
How do you test the pulse, no?
By shaking the hand.
That is the secret.
So if different texts say that the grantees are in different places, is it possible that the grantees exist in different places depending on the person?
Maybe, may not be. Maybe it differs technique also. Now when in Buddhism they say 9 chakras, they must be having some basis. When Hatha Yoga says or Tantra says 7 chakra, they have their own basis. So maybe their experience, intuitive approach, maybe. We don't say anyone is wrong. 9 also is correct, 7 also is correct. We lose nothing if we accept it.
An analogy that comes to my mind is like if I was born in India and you ask me my age, I might say 31. But on the other, being born not in India, I'll say I'm 30. For real. Okay? And what you're really doing is that, the day after your 30th birthday, 31 begins, right? And but of course we're calling that 30 till 30 ends, Okay, and 31 has been completed. Right, is when we say 31. So in a way, when you see these grantees, one text says at Mula, the other text says at Manipura. It's just like that, is the beginning point, the end point, etc., and based on sort of an interpretation, an experience. Yeah, but when it comes to, it's just like, if you take physiological studies, literally around the planet on human beings, of which we're all very, very similar, and you look at what happens, say, in puberty, right? There's no difference. The only difference is one girl has it at 12, another at 18, in some different communities based on certain different cultural aspects. So some of these things exist like that with certain cultural aspects around it, right? And as he was saying earlier, that whether you've been sitting in your Zen practice or following Hatha Yoga is spelling out what goes on, and Zen was talking about something similar but with different names and with a different focal point. The process is the same. You see a photo of a girl in Papua New Guinea with her face red and shaved, for a ritual of puberty, and then you see some girl in New York City photographed just walking around with her friends, right? They both go through the same thing physiologically, but there's a massive difference just in their contextual basis. See? So some of these things fall under that, as opposed to completely opposing. And following on from that, if someone is really in tune, I don't know what that means, but if you're really in tune, okay, dude, and has had their K awakening, I like that. Yo, I gotta make a t-shirt on that. K awakening. So if somebody's really in tune and has their, I presume, Kundalini awakening, can they tell if others have had it, or can they tell if others are close? Can they give good juju to help others get there faster? So in a nutshell, if someone I want to meet you, whoever you are. Okay, come see me after class. So if someone is has managed to have grown well, passed through Kundalini stage, are they able to see where others are at, or getting close to that? Can they help them, give them a bit of a boost, etc.?
Say anything what they want.
What would you say?
I will say be sincere and honest before making any statement.
Oh, you're getting on that one. Keep practicing, guys. Okay. What determines if a student is ready to move from 112 to 122?
What?
What determines if a student is ready to move from 112 to 122?
One should practice it very comfortably, and no problem is there. With the regularity, if someone practicing even sincerely for 3 months continuously, they can go. But better take advice of your teacher.
Like some of you have asked me that already, and I ask you, what's your count? And it's like 4 or 5, 5, 5, 10. This is still very, very basic, sort of develop that a bit, and before anything near 1, 2, 2, So I might read it all first. It's long, and then we can break it up. How do you find the balance between listening to your body and discipline? Is it different for each person, and how does it apply to pranayama and asana? When is your mind tricking you? So to give an example, you said last year that if you are not sure you want to eat or not, don't eat. But if you are not sure if you want to open your bowels and go to the toilet, I guess, or not, then do, you know. So for pranayama, should you extend your count or number of Kapalabhati, or should you stick to your exact prescription? So maybe there's two parts there.
One of Kapalabhati.
Well, you can answer the latter part then first. And part of it is trying to read yourself, listen to yourself. If you get a prescription when you're practicing with us, should you just stick to that, or how will you know to extend it?
See, one thing for self-practice, always remember, you feel psychologically and physiologically very healthy. Self-confidence, no doubts, not putting whether I did it correctly or not. And it always happens that really if you are doing with sincerity, always you improve, always you go. But there are so many things. One is keep on shifting the time, then you make new timetable. That way it doesn't help. As Patanjali has said, be prepared, satu dirghakal. In your mind you should take, it will take time. Don't fix a time that in 1 year it will happen. Nairantar, with regularity. Satkar, with trust. Read, discuss, come to some conclusion and see, okay, just like you decide I should eat this food, this is beneficial. And then you follow it. So same way they say, once you are convinced that practice of yoga I should do, I must do, then it becomes fun. Then it starts giving result. But somewhere, any time doubts are created, see, doubt against certainty is very bad. Doubt against the working of mind can be conquered, but which is certain. Suppose law of gravity, it is proved, and you start doubting it, then it is not good. Doubt against certainty is very dangerous. But means try to solve, try to read, try to discuss, try to practice. See what happens. So, very open. That is why Patanjali says, you prepared for a long battle. Don't think it is going to solve within few months. Don't be in hurry. But experience should be such that you are practicing, whatever you are practicing, you are having a favorable result. You are feeling good. Prasannatmendriya mana, he says, at the level of your spirit, at the senses, at the level of your chitta, you must feel happiness, you must feel joy. So it is, the growth is not on one sector, it involves your total personality.
The word here I can't really make out, but so what is the main difference? I don't know what that word is. About the impact of. So what? Okay, I think this is what the question is saying. What's the main difference between, say, doing mantra japa and chanting, like, you know, the,
Yesterday we said, no?
huh?
Technically, mantra japa is when you are alone doing. When group is doing it, mantra recitation. But japa is when either you are doing with the help of your beats or you are using the hand beats or mentally you are doing, like manas. That is called japa. Japa means repeating something again and again with the help of this or without help. But what we are doing, it is a group recitation. It, of course, it gives you the something, the correct pronunciation, vibrations are there. It does affect, no question that it does not affect. It gives a rhythm. But japa is, you need seclusion. And when you are repeating yourself.
Then on the Kriyas, just about Vamana, Vamandauti. Why, when, how often? Why do it? When do it? How often do it?
No, generally, Vaman is done if excess of mucus or excess of pitta is there, acid.
How often? How often?
Means
How much you do?
कितने बार कितने बार
how many times?
Yes.
It depends on you, your capacity. If you can maintain for 1 minute, okay. If you can't maintain, repeat it.
No, like you know, how many days a week, or how many times a month, or how many times a year?
If you ask me, I'll say daily.
Vaman daily.
No, not Vaman. Halasan we are
No.
discussing.
Vaman dauti.
Vaman is when you need it. Otherwise, once in a month also is okay, once in 15 days also. To keep up the practice.
And they were also asking here how much water and salt.
That all depends upon the capacity of the person. Suppose I can drink 5 glasses. One person can drink 2 glasses. So you cannot force. One should not force. So everyone knows its capacity. But drink as much as comfortably you can drink. After all, you have to throw it out. But never mix too much salt. Remember this thing. Then you sometimes get headache.
Pranayama. So if you have a headache, what would you suggest with pranayama?
You find out why headache is coming. Maybe acid is more, then woman will be very good. Or our experience is, for headache, a warm water, lemon and honey. First thing to drink in the morning. It is very, very good for headache.
And if you've got both nostrils really blocked or sinusitis, and you keep putting the cushion under, but it just doesn't really help, what would you recommend?
Try lying down for some time on the opposite side. See whether it opens. And practice Neti and Kapalbhati. That is better. Because if it is sinusitis, you have to deal sinusitis first. And also drop of ghee in the night helps very much in cases of sinusitis. Niti,
Drop a ghee
2-3 drops
in the
before
nose.
sleep.
Nose. There you go. What I just add is on pranayama, because there are times when something goes off, right? So you have your regular practice, but then it's not that you are supposed to follow your regular practice. You might have to do more kriyas to help balance. You might need to rest more, reduce, see, and then come back into good health. So think of it like that, the flexibility within that. So about Shavasana, what is the difference to lie on the left or right side? What's the difference between lying on the left or on the right in Shavasana?
See, why they have asked on the back? Because when you lie down on bed, maximum time both nostrils are working. And that is necessary for spiritual aspect. When you are doing meditation, always you will find they will recommend Sushumna should work. Sushumna means nostrils both are working. But when you lie down left, right will be working, left will be blocked. Vice versa. So always they have said, try to see when you are practicing, meditating or meditation technique you are doing, both nostrils should work. Yes.
No, 2 more questions. So regarding a teacher, how can you stay in contact with the teacher if you don't have the money to travel once or several times a year?
Nowadays, Skype, phone.
Or like Modi, the holographic,
Yes.
see? It's like Star Wars style. Hello, Luke. What he's saying is, you can email or
Ask him.
if something happens, and you need to get on the phone, then do that. So this is about, the question is titled Yoga in the West, which is not an appropriate term. East-West is not really a fair category, especially not anymore. And even the Dalai Lama was going on about this when he was at Emory with us last year. This distinction is off, it's inappropriate, because, much, I know it's an old categorization, but much has shifted since. So if you're talking about yoga in more modern times or away from tradition or something, or out of India, what do you think about the development of yoga in the West or outside of India? Very famous, fashion seems to be more important, what kind of fancy cloth you wear and how you can impress others by the way you might with your body, like you might do things with your body instead of trying to live the yamas and yamas.
That's a good question.
Well, what do you think of yoga today?
What's fashion does not last long. Fashion doesn't last long. Or both. But so you've been there as a young practitioner, you've been there with your teacher, you've been there in the olden days, traditional practices, living on the ashram, teacher passes, you're in your own role, and also in a position to watch the growth, spread of yoga, both not just outside India, but even back into India, and obviously different kind of brands, at least of asana that's called yoga, and
and you yourself get to travel in many places and teach and see, and you have, at least I know since the 70s, been able to go out and in. So what's your take on seeing this shift, change, growth, broader exposure of yoga to around the world in a way? You know, because now you can sort of go anywhere and find a yoga class.
It is welcome, but the truth will prevail. My teacher always said, don't criticize. First thing you learn is don't criticize anyone. See what you are doing. That is more important.
So I'm doing my David Frost interview skills here. I got to push. You know, what's your impression or take, or even view for where things are at and going? What's your view, impression? It's not about criticizing. View, impression, and even the prospects for yoga as it can evolve, move in the next decade or two.
See, remember one thing. Yoga has seen all types of days and time. You can imagine the days when India was invaded, when 100% temples of the north were broken, when the conversion was going on the large scale. Hindus were compelled to leave their, but still it prevailed. It is still alive. So I don't think we should get panicky what is happening today. It coming as a fashion will go as a fashion. But yoga will always remain yoga.